per hour. They'll continue through this evening, but later tonight, those stronger gusts over 40 miles per hour will likely relax unless there is a stray shower that could produce those erratic winds. When it comes to our fire danger for tomorrow, it stays elevated because it will be another breezy day. Breezy winds in the morning, by the afternoon, not as gusty as today, right around 15 to 20 miles per hour. I am tracking a couple spotty thunderstorms to let you know where they're going for tonight, and I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few more minutes.
Done safely, fireworks are great family memories.
With Pioneer Day right around the corner, Utahns are getting ready to light the fuse of fireworks for the second time this month. But is the risk worth the reward? With the fire risks and rising costs, how do we safely enjoy this holiday? You just heard from Shane Willis. He owns Some Dudes Fireworks in Lehigh. He tells me the best fireworks, the best prices are right here in our backyard. Take a listen.
I've been doing this for 9 years now.
Why'd you get into it in the first place?
Oh, that's an easy one. I love fireworks. My wife, my two daughters, my two sons, we all pitch in, and they have friends that help, and yep, we get it done.
Why did you decide to open this other than liking fireworks? Why did you, this is a commitment for you, so why did you decide to do this?
That's a good question. The last time that I went out of state for fireworks, $1,000 fit in the front seat of my car. And I love fireworks, but I came home and told my wife they're just too much money now, and that we maybe won't be able to do it anymore. And so, long story short, we decided to, if you buy them in extreme bulk, you get a great price on them. And that's why we started to do this, because we have been in other people's shoes, and we want everyone to be able to enjoy fireworks at a reasonable price.
The big thing this time of year, obviously it's dry, and there's always going to be that debate in Utah because it's a dry state. But what is your advice to people that come by fireworks? Just in general, to do this in a safe manner so we can continue to have this opportunity to do this a couple times a year.
Right. Mostly, actually, it's just common sense. Don't do them in a big dry field with, a lot of dry weeds and stuff. Just use common sense. You can have water available to pour over them when you're done. We always recommend on the smaller ones that you brick them and secure them. And, if done safely, fireworks are great family memories.
You mentioned buying out of state. Not only are some of those fireworks that you buy out of state illegal in Utah, but people will still do it. What is your advice to folks that are willing to drive instead of shopping local?
I'm glad you asked me that. The best fireworks and the best prices are right here in their backyard. There is a stigma about, well, if they're illegal, they must be better. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. We sell fireworks that go just as higher, break just as big or bigger, and they're totally legal. It's just kind of I don't know what started it and if it will ever end. People think the best fireworks are in Wyoming, and couldn't be farther from the truth. We are not bound by one brand. We buy the best fireworks from all of the brands. There are probably 20 or more different brands here. I buy what I would spend my money on. You can't buy a bad firework at Some Dudes Fireworks. Just use common sense. Be safe.
Thanks to Shane for the time during his busy time here as we get ready for the 24th. So according to UFA and the Utah State Fire Marshal, fireworks can be discharged 2 days before, the day of, and the day after, July 4th and the 24th. That means they can be used this week, starting tomorrow and ending Friday at midnight. These rules are subject to change if high winds and adverse weather are in your area. Officials say several homes in northern Utah have been damaged or even destroyed this July due to reckless firework use in the wildland urban interface areas. So for information, you can head over to Unified Fire's website, unifiedfire.org. I'm going to show you a great feature on that site that you should familiarize yourself with if you plan on lighting up the sky this week. This web map is really handy. It shows the restricted areas with a red shading. You can see it here where fireworks are prohibited for 2025. It's very helpful. Users can actually type in their address here to find out if they live in a restricted zone. Starting right here, smack dab, downtown Salt Lake City at the news station here on Main Street. You can see the restrictions can get as specific as certain blocks. For example, that would be Gallivan Plaza or even buildings in the area. The restrictions covering the majority of all of our eastbound sort of eastern side canyon entrances. I'm going to go all the way out here so you can get a better look at the Salt Lake area. We're going to bring it even further out and show basically all of the Wasatch Front in the Salt Lake Valley here. Parley's Canyon, Immigration, both Cottonwood Canyons are all completed here and they're shaded. Now looking south of the large coverage area, we've got Eagle Mountain, one of our state's fastest growing cities here. We'll get down this way to Eagle Mountain. A lot of restrictions, a lot of red here, all the way down SR 73, down into the Cedar Valley area. Very dry down here. And in the center of the map here, let's go back up to areas like maybe West Valley City, Murray over here in Taylorsville. They're spotty. Residents of central Salt Lake County are really hit or miss. The coverage follows major roadways. It also follows, you may notice, kind of that Jordan River area where you butt up against that wildland-urban interface. And as far as the southeast directions, there's a bunch of areas here, Draper, Sandy. A lot of Draper is open, but again, by that corridor, there's a lot of restrictions that are in that spot. And they end really just about the point of the mountain there in the Traverse Mountain area. You can see the golf course at Thanksgiving Point as a landmark here. Really no restrictions southbound and to the side of Utah Lake here, at least that we can see on this map in Utah County. As always, you should treat this as, well, where do I live? And do the research on your own because each municipality may have their own restrictions. But you can always head to this website, plug in your address, and see if fireworks are allowed in your area. Just something to think about. So, if you're planning to set off your own boomers this week, doctors are reminding you to be quite careful. Last year across the country, 11 people were killed in firework-related accidents. 14,000 others were hurt. I imagine a lot of singed fingers, perhaps. Eye injuries, 15% of fireworks related to eye injuries. Before you light those fireworks, first responders say you should have water and you got to have the hose nearby. They also say you should never light them while impaired. Don't do that. If you got pets, you definitely want to keep them inside this week. Many cats and dogs don't like the noises from fireworks. It can even cause pets to run away. So, vets recommend making sure your dogs are wearing collars just in case. They also recommend keeping your pets inside with music playing. That'll help keep them calm. Keep an eye on those friends. It's always a busy time where they take off and they end up in a shelter somewhere. So due to the ongoing statewide drought, extremely dry vegetation, nearly 100,000 acres currently burned or burning across Utah. Fire departments across the state are really pleading for people in their areas to practice good fire sense. Kaysville Fire Department took to social media, as they always do, to remind residents if they choose to participate, make sure you soak all those used fireworks in water. Leave them outside to cool completely before putting them in garbage cans or dumpsters. The picture you see here was the result of someone throwing away hot fireworks in a dumpster on private property. This happened recently over the 4th of July. Their crews responded to several similar fires that night. Folks at Utah Fire Info there and the Department of Natural Resources sharing the top 4 active wildfires in our state. The Monroe Canyon fire, over 9,000 acres burned. They got a lot of people working that one. Minimal containment right now. They're kind of waiting for that one to pick up an activity. Pardon me. The Deer Creek fire, 17,000 acres burned. About 600 people working that one. They just bumped the containment since they put this graphic out. Now over 50%. Love to see it. Keep in mind containment, exterior, not interior. Just something to keep in mind. The Forsyth fire, over 15,000 acres burned. Really positive work done on this one. It's taken a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort to knock this one down. 95% containment. Finally, the France Canyon fire, not something we've been talking about lately, but for a while this was really a lot of the focus in Utah. It's our largest fire of the year. About 35,000 acres, 90% contained. Forest closures in that area still in effect. I saw some people talking about that on social today. Fire crews continuing to look for hot spots along the Grand Canyon's north rim. Gusty winds, hot, dry weather there. The lightning sparked fire for the Grand Canyon fire that took down the historic lodge. This was on July 4th. Spread quickly, destroying over 100 structures, numerous historic cabins. Over 18 square miles have burned already. The Dragon Bravo fire, minimal containment on that perimeter, 8%. Light showers are expected earlier this week. The moisture could be a game changer for crews on the south rim. No injuries have been reported. The area is closed for the rest of the season. Keeping an eye on developing fires all across the state, really. West Valley City Fire Department said somebody was welding today near dry grass. Tisk, tisk. And that sparked a fire. This happened near 31st South, 28th West. The fire damaged 2 sheds, 3 fences, a greenhouse, and a power pole. A lot of consequences here. Before crews were able to get it out, windy conditions not doing any favors for fire crews. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, the new guardrails added to Utah's school voucher program and transparency over how public tax dollars were spent on private school students. company managing Utah's school voucher program releasing new details about how public funds will be spent on private education. Odyssey, the third-party administrator of the Utah Fits All Scholarship, outlined its new reimbursement process. The change comes after a rocky transition from the prior administrator that was shrouded in secrecy. Jim Spiewak has the details of the way things will now be run.
Odyssey, the third-party administrator, will now track all education-related transactions and reimbursements for families who qualify for public tax dollars to be used for private or homeschool education. In a letter recently sent out to parents, Odyssey says that the marketplace will offer pre-approved goods and services from pre-approved vendors. Reimbursements will still be allowed, but Odyssey claims with tighter guardrails than before. Odyssey declined to do an interview until the new marketplace opens in August, and some, like Senator Kathleen Reeby, still have concerns.
I'm glad that we're moving towards a system that has more transparency, more guardrails, and a firmer understanding of what's included and what's not.
Under the previous administrator, reimbursements had no line item or receipt that the public could see. Odyssey says that reimbursements going forward must now include receipts, dates, vendor information, and an explanation of how the expense serves an educational purpose.
That has yet to be determined because it's in such flux, and it's changed already so drastically in 1 year because it was not working well at all.
Reeby says the digital wallet can add a layer of transparency, but wants to see the voucher scholarship held to the same standard as public education.
We really are beholden to our taxpayers to the last penny, and I see this being better, but I still have some concerns about how this would work.
A judge has ruled the program unconstitutional, at least for now, and that decision is being appealed, and we are awaiting a ruling by the Utah Supreme Court to see if the unconstitutional order will stand. For now, however, the program marches on with the new marketplace set to open on August 21st. Brian?
All right, Jim, thank you. One of the places impacted by the federal funding freeze is the Guadalupe Center in Salt Lake City. In a fundraising email sent out today, the center says it's at risk of losing more than $1 million in funding. The center could be forced to reduce after-school hours and limit enrollment, scaling back tutoring and enrichment opportunities, and shortening the length of summer school. It's Salt Lake Bees Week on KUTV. We have week-long coverage of this, special guests. Meteorologist Chase Thomason has your first pitch forecast. The team will be at home this week taking on the Isotopes, who hail from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Can't make it out to the ballpark. I'd encourage you to watch KMYU, maybe watch the first couple innings with us here on KJazz, and then flip over to KMYU since we're going to be on KJazz at the same time. That goes throughout the rest of the week. All right, it's about that time. Let's get to meteorologist Chase Thomason with our first alert forecast.
We finally got some much-needed rain down in southern Utah. It wasn't widespread, but St. George, some measurable precipitation, especially on the east side of town. Take a look. Earlier today, nice little downpour. We're seeing rain totals generally less than 1,500s, but St. George, at least the airport, was the big winner with 1,500s. But Washington City, 1/10 of an inch. Virgin, just under 1/10 of an inch. 500s in Kanab and in Pine Valley, but Pine Valley is where we had the Forsyth fire, so some much-needed rainfall where we definitely have some of these wildfires down in southwestern Utah that are still burning. Ivan's picking up 300s in the rain gauge. Now, if you're headed to the ballpark, not today, but for tomorrow, because it's Bees Week, taking on the Albuquerque Isotopes. The weather's looking pretty quiet here in northern Utah. We'll have mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Yes, temperatures will be hot at 7 o'clock, right around 90 degrees. However, once that sun goes down, temperatures will be cooling off nicely. Should be very pleasant, maybe a little bit warmer, though, as we head into the weekend. Still can't rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm for tonight across northern Utah and portions of central Utah. We're not seeing a whole lot of moisture out there, so no wetting rains. Few raindrops and some gusty winds can't be ruled out around 30 to 40 miles per hour. After midnight, though, most of these showers will be falling apart. By tomorrow, though, some drier areas moving in from the west, so we can't rule out maybe a stray shower over eastern Utah, where we have a little bit more moisture out there. The Wasatch Front I-15 corridor will likely stay very quiet, just a light breeze in the afternoon. Temperatures, though, in the low 90s. That is hot, but it is also late July, and these temperatures are still a couple degrees below normal. St. George, 97 degrees. Your normal is 102, by the way. We'll be in the upper 80s and low 90s in northeastern Utah, with Moab coming at 95. If you're at maybe Arches or Canyonlands, just keep your eyes to the sky. There could be a stray afternoon thunderstorm. Generally, though, the overall pattern is staying pretty quiet. We have a little weak storm system, though. That's why we had a little bit of moisture here in Utah. It stays to the north of Utah. You get counterclockwise rotation, so our winds are going to be more out of the north and northwest with that drier air moving in and keeping temperatures, again, a couple degrees below normal for a few more days. Then our next weather maker is this ridge of high pressure that gets a little bit closer to Utah by the end of the weekend and into early next week. And that's when those temperatures will be going back up and likely above normal. But in the meantime, enjoy the 90s in St. George. That is not too bad for late July. A little breezy each afternoon, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Overnight lows in the low 70s, but for your Pioneer Day, it will be sunny and dry. Gets really hot again, though, beginning on Sunday, 101, and a lot of triple digits in the forecast for early next week down in southern Utah. In northern Utah, partly cloudy skies for tomorrow, 93 degrees, 92 on Wednesday, and 93 on Thursday. But notice, though, over the next few nights, those overnight lows with that drier air will be cooling off into the 60s, and that will feel very pleasant as we head into the weekend. But those daytime highs are back on the rise. By Sunday, we're at 97 degrees, and we'll stay in the upper 90s. At least there's no triple digits into early next week.
Before we go tonight, new information on the Deer Creek fire. It is believed to be human caused, as confirmed by the San Juan County Sheriff's Office just a few moments ago. They mentioned that they do have a suspect in custody, but did not share any other specifics on the type of human-caused ignition and whether there's any other factors they want to share right now. This is some new drone footage, by the way, from the UAS systems that were flown over the fire by Great Basin Team 4. It's a large fire, 54% contained, but considering fire crews have done a great job there in southeastern Utah. We'll continue to keep you updated. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7.